Hello, this is Broyar, and welcome back to another episode of our Let's Play for Farming Simulator 22 as we continue our start from almost nothing run here on BallySpring. And I parked my truck here with the last bale just to be able to start this episode with the last bale, and then I went and ate dinner. And in that time period, we appear to have gotten some environmental protesters here that are protesting my ability to drop off. Okay, I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. Yeah, I don't know where these people came from or why they're here. But to they're making a mistake here, because if you're going to protest by blocking off traffic, you should probably do it horizontally. This vertical thing means I could probably just drive around them. Let's see. In fact, oh, he's going to come at me. Oh man, boy, you're coming at me. That is bold, dude. I could have just run you over. I don't care. Who's going to stop me? There ain't no cops in this world. All right, sorry. There we go. Now we get you dropped off. I need to fasten. And there we go. Nice, almost $1,000 there. And contract is done. Let us turn in this contract and figure out which contract we're going to pick up next. I mean, I could keep this contract to use the equipment again. Is there a benefit of doing that? I mean, we might want to keep the tractor. Maybe. Because I don't know how good that vehicle is going to do mowing. Does that have a connector on the front and the back? I guess it does. I've never used that before. Like, where is that? I've never used. Is that in the trucks? No. Is it in the cars? No. Miscellaneous? Yes. So it's just a semi-truck looking vehicle that happens to have a connector on the front, which means I'd have to mow from the front, which that feels a little strange. Unless it's got rear mounting ones too. It does not. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting vehicle. What kind of combination? Oh, you can actually attach trailers and stuff too. This is pretty cool. Okay, so I got distracted there. So I think what we're gonna do then is probably not borrow equipment for this one and use the tractor we've got now, or just use this tractor. Actually, I think I kind of like this tractor better anyway. This only has a front mower though, which is strange. Very, very unusual setup here. They all just have those front and back forks though, for hauling this stuff around. Do both of these go to... No, this goes to the garage and this one goes to the garage. That's great, actually. I think the garage will be easier to drop off with than the BGA. So yeah, I think we're just going to accept this contract. And like I said, use our current tractor for this. Plus the current windrower we have is... Actually, I don't think we can use the windrower, but we can use the tractor. So we'll have to go back and pick up the mower and all this stuff from this one. Or again, just grab this one. Either would work. You know what? We're going to turn in the one we got. And I'm going to use that green tractor, I think. So we're going to collect from here. Since I am pretty confident that we're going to finish both of these, we're going to go ahead and just borrow this equipment. Oh, we got to borrow from both. Okay, never mind. We do have to borrow from both because I do still need the mower from the other contract. But what we can do is then just use the tractor for both. So that'll be fine. Where's the other one? I guess I won't borrow from you yet. I'll get the store cleared out first, and then we'll come back and borrow from you. Okay. I think that's all gonna work. Let me just get you parked off to the side. We don't need you right now. And that's gonna be fine. Let's go grab you. Yeah, I like this little tractor. And you do have 2 connecting bits for the mowers. Not really a huge fan of this mower. I might actually honestly decide to not use this, although it is obviously much larger than the front. But I don't know. I'm not a fan of the ones that are offset like that. I mean, I think it's slightly easier to use than the one that is a trailer that we were using for the other field. So I guess there's that. I shouldn't even have to look at the map for where this field is at, because these are all the fields on that left-hand side that we already know about, since those are all Atomic Knights fields. Sorry, traffic. I did not mean to swerve into the other lane there. Rain hasn't started yet, thankfully, but I would expect it might start here anytime now. We're up to 32,000 bucks though. That feels really good. I mean, that contract, let's see, how much did we get from that last contract? The contract itself, okay, we sold bales for 6,700 bucks plus the, what was it, 9,000 bucks for the contract, something like that. That was a $15,000 contract. Yes, please. I mean, it's between these 3 contracts, we should get, I bet we break 65,000 bucks. Easy. That's pretty good chunk of the way towards our own wrapper. Or baler, I should say. Which might be the first thing we buy, only because I don't know that those are going to pop up too often. I mean, a tractor's going to pop up again. We'll see that again. A baler that also has a silage wrapper attached to it, probably not going to be too often. This is a very awkwardly shaped field. A triangle, almost. I mean, I think round bales are probably what we're going to end up using. I mean, no matter what we do. But I do think that, I like the fact that square bales just kind of are a continuous thing, right? They just keep spitting out the stuff on the back. All right, let's see how good a job we can do here. I guess we don't have to get too close to the edge because we know that those are not going to be usable anyway. Say we're gonna get like little patches here on the edge that's just not gonna let us do anything. I mean, I'll still go around the border just to see what, you know, let it decide, I guess, where we can and can't. But it's gonna be a little interesting, I think. This is a hay contract, isn't it? I think it is. I like the mower is just a little bit louder than most of the equipment normally is. That should be the end of our gaps, I would say. Excuse me. Missed a little spot there, but I had to mute so I cough. Still a decent sized field though. I get quite a few bales off this thing. I mean, the fact that they have to go to the garage is a little unfortunate because the garage is on the other side of the map. You know, I might try out that truck, since it's only got the front mower anyway. I might try it out just to see how it feels. It may feel all right, honestly. You never know. I mean, it's got a front attachment for a reason, so. I think getting the windrower is going to be a little bit awkward on this particular field. Almost done here. I mean, I guess the side thing's not that bad. Probably not as bad as I was giving it or complaining about. Still way better than the trailer. I do not like the trailer ones at all. All right, turn off the mowers. Lift them up. And I need to stash these somewhere. We're just gonna zip over into this field. We did the harvesting on this field anyway. We have rights to come in here, right? Let's get them stashed off to the side over here. All right, well, let me go I'm gonna get the windrowing, or I guess just say the tedding first and then the windrowing done. I'll probably bring you guys back when it's time to bale again. All right, we're back. Got all the tedding done as well as the windrowing. So bringing the baler up here. I'm gonna get everything baled up. I think we're gonna get quite a few bales off this field. Not the least of reasons because I think this is just a 125 millimeter. I'm assuming based off the 125F Pro on the side, because I can't change you can't see behind my head, but I can't change the settings like I could on that last one. So this one's locked into a certain type. So I assume it's the 125. All right, let's start right here. I'm pretty sure we can do this with the rain. I don't think baling is impacted by rain. Although I would imagine putting soggy, tedded material into a bale, not normally a good idea. But, you know, whatever. I don't think does this one have automatic dropping? It does. I'll just let it drop automatically. Hopefully not too many of our bales roll away. Gotta cut off a little bit up the edge here and kind of also define where we can do stuff. All right, let's go ahead and start coming down here, I guess. Usually, I think the bales are static, like they're locked in place for a moment when they first drop, unless the tractor's still near them, and then they kind of almost unlock from the ground. I don't know if you've ever noticed that before. Like they're, like even bales on flat ground, they'll kind of quiver a little bit once the baler comes close. So if I can drop these off properly, like back up properly, then I should be able to get away from it and let it lock in place usually. And that may be just a, may not actually be how it works, but it's how it perceives to work to me. Hopefully the trailer can hold a lot more of these bales than it could of the 150s. I think this is going to be an awkward bale right here. Might have to come back near here in a minute. I mean, I bet we get 20, 25 bales off this thing. Especially of these smaller bales. Is it weird that I suddenly want to do the math of the difference in volume between a 125 and a 150 cylinder of the same height to see if the volume that we get of hay slash silage or whatever it happens to be maths out properly? Like, yeah, this is coming out at 4,500, right? I'm like, okay, what is that volume, and what would I actually expect this to be? I'll just stop. There you go. Although I was going to use the 5,500 number for 150, but that's silage. I think hay's at a different quantity than the silage is, and I actually don't remember what they are. Believe it or not, I'm one of those weird people that likes math. So I used to do weird stuff in math class in school. I would completely ignore all the teacher's instructions and never did homework. Absolutely never did math homework. There was no point. I saw no point. In fact, it was funny because my math teachers used to have it where, you know, the tests were 75% of your grade and the homework was 25%, or, you know, 60-40 or something like that. And the idea being that the homework was designed to be an easy A, easy 100, you know, or at least easy, you know, high score that would offset your presumably bad test score. Well, for me, it always did the opposite, because I was always, and I'm not really trying to toot my horn. If it sounds like that, I apologize. I'm not like, usually try not to be too showy, but I am pretty good at math in general. Unless I'm talking on stream, because apparently I can't do math when I'm talking to you guys. But I used to be that annoying person who would break the curve on the math test, because I'd get the 100 and then the teacher would be like, okay, well, we can't use the, you know, curve based off of the highest score. And so they would have to curve off the second highest score, and then I would just get extra bonus points. So what ended up happening was I'd have extremely high test scores. And if let's say, for example, the teacher like was going to use the 75, I should be paying more attention here. The 75-20 that I was talking about, or 75-25, then if the teacher didn't excuse my homework, I would end up with the 75 in the class after getting hundreds in every single test. And the teacher would be like, so I'd have to talk to my teachers, be like, look, I don't get the point of homework. I don't need it. I'm going to do fine on the test. So why don't you just ignore my homework, please? Like, please. But the other thing I used to do is that I would enjoy not like fully listening to the teacher in class. And then basically when it came time for test, I would just figure out like how to do things. You know, I would like rediscover the proofs of how to do things sometimes. And I don't know why I did this. It was like, it's almost like in my brain, in my really weird twisted brain back when I was young, the test was not hard enough. So I'm like, okay, how can I make this harder? Oh, I know. Just come into it with no knowledge of how to do this and figure out how to do this. And so I would do stupid things like that. I don't know. It was, you know, I was a weird child in high school. But yeah. So there we go. I'm a weirdo with math. I like math. I took extra math courses in college. Like literally. Like I think I was 1 or 2 classes away from an actual double major in math and computer science. And I would like to have done that because I think a double major just would have been, you know, fun. But because I had to go extra, I actually had to go longer I had to go like an extra semester or or 2, because when I transferred back to the college that I ended up graduating from the college that I was attending, alongside my wife. My wife was in the Army, and so I was stationed with her. And then when she got out of the Army, I hadn't quite finished college yet, and so I had 2 choices. I could either stay in the college where we were at, and be 1,000 miles away from my wife who was coming back home to family, or I could transfer to a different college and graduate from there and be close to family and everything like that. And then my family could come see me graduate and all that kind of stuff. So of course, I mean, I think the logical choice there is, especially considering my wife was with child and I would not going to spend the first 6 months of my child's life away just so I could finish college a semester or 2 earlier. I think it was actually ended up being 2 extra semesters. So a full year that I had to go extra for college just because things didn't transfer completely. The graduation requirements for one college were off, a little bit off of the graduation requirements for the other college. And so some of the classes I took were not counted, and then I had to take extra courses at the new college. So literally I had to go an extra year. Not only did I have to go an extra year, I think I ended up having to get like a special waiver from the dean so that I could take like 26 hours of classes or something crazy like that, which you can't actually do. Like there was not enough time in a day to actually attend 26 hours of classes. So what I ended up doing was I self-taught myself 2 of the classes. One of which being a math class, and I think the other one was a computer science class, like the 2 things that I was going to be good at anyway. So I self-taught a couple classes, and all I would do is I would basically show up and take the tests. And the teachers were okay with that as long as I got the dean's approval, which I did, and all that kind of stuff. So it was a really weird final year of college for me. 5th year of college for me. Like I said, I had to go an extra year. And so by the time I got through all of that, I was like, okay, even though I really wanted to take those last 2 courses to get my double major in math, one, I'm kind of done with college, like for now. Like I'm ready to kind of be done. 5 years is fine. I mean, there's a lot of, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of professions that go more than 5 years, but from a family standpoint, things like that, it was actually just time for me to get a job. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, I'm done. Let me graduate and let's go. But also financially, it was just, I was fine on my financial situation for the first 4 years because I qualified for most of the, the grants and the different things like that. But when you go that 5th year, suddenly all of those things dry up. So I went from a reasonable student loan debt to literally more than doubling my student loan debt in that 5th year. So again, you got to go back to that decision to come home with my family so I could be there with my pregnant wife who was about to have a baby, and be with my own family, my other family, my parents and things like that who were back, where my wife was returning to. Or I could have stayed where I was and saved myself a very large chunk of student loan debt. So do I think I made the wrong choice? No, of course not. I mean, I would never trade those first few months with my child for anything, or being away from my wife for that long, to be honest, would not have been fun either, of course. I mean, I get that obviously her being in the military we knew plenty of military, usually husbands, that had to be in that situation where they're away from their family and, you know, pregnant wives and stuff like that. So it's not like, I get that that's a thing that happens, and I definitely could have done it if it really needed to, but you know, I just didn't feel like it was necessary. I get it any more to get another build? I don't think I can. Let me just circumnavigate the outside here, just see if I get 21% here. But anyway, at the end of the day, if I were to go do it all over again, trading, you know, 6 months with my family, you know, to save myself a very large, oh, sorry. How do I do the map thing? Come on, there we go. To save myself a very large chunk of money on loans that would obviously, you know, to be honest, are still affecting us today. We're having I'm still paying off student loans. I mean, to this day. I mean, it's just, it's the way it is. I might have made a different decision looking back on it now, because I realize how much of an impact those student loans are having on us, as well as the fact that a few months away from my family would not have been the end of the world, and you know, life would have been fine. Life would have been okay. But I was still young. We were fairly newly married. We'd only been married for a couple years at that point, and I didn't want to be away from her if I could help it. You know, it's just one of those things. So yeah, that's how it all went out. That's my math story. Apparently, I don't know why I deviated so much from my math story, but I don't know. I don't mind letting you guys in. I'm so close on the stupid harvester, or the stupid baler. I wish I could get just a little bit more, but I don't think it's gonna happen. So oh well. But anyway, I like letting you guys into a little bit of, you know, stuff, you know, about me. For hopefully obvious reasons, I try to be vague where necessary, while also there's certain details that I don't think are a problem. I mean, the detail that I have a child, I don't think is a problem. The detail that my wife was in the military, I don't think is a problem. Like, but there are other things like where we have lived and things like that I probably try to avoid a little bit of. You know, just to be careful. You got to be careful online, unfortunately. Oh, I was trying to grab something, but I realized my next step is to go grab my trailer. But what I was going to say is that yeah, so like I said, there's certain details that I don't mind kind of being you know, sharing and stuff like that, because I think it's fine. Actually, you know what? I need to go down this road back here behind me. No, I can go up this road up here. Never mind. We'll just keep going forward. And if you are new to the channel and have not watched very much of my stuff, yes, I mean, I will confirm again. I am a computer programmer, or I was told that they call them software engineers, specifically at the company I work at, because, well, in the vice president's mind, when I talked to her, the vice president of engineering, when I talked to her, when she explained the difference, she sees a computer programmer as somebody who just does what they're told, and a software engineer is someone who thinks outside the box. That was her definition for why they call them two different things. But essentially a computer program, but I'm labeled a software engineer. Oh, technically, not a basic software engineer. I guess I have been, I've made my way up the ranks a bit. I guess you would call my what is called a principal software engineer, which means I've been doing it for a decent chunk of time. Or a senior software engineer. I mean, some companies would probably just make it like a just a senior software engineer and just be fine with that too. So they're both principal. I mean, depending on where some companies may not have that concept. Some companies might skip straight from senior to like what's called an architect, which is more of a high level, big brain kind of like overarching, like let me look at the full strategy of what we're doing type of thing. Whereas software engineers, senior software engineers, things like that are still the type of people that are still doing, you know, day-to-day coding work, but senior level is more of the ones that are taking a leadership role within the team. At least that's, again, how it was explained in the company that I work for. I have worked for the same company my entire career. Just been fine. Truth be told, I probably could be making a lot more money now if I jumped ship a bit more often, but I feel like I'm pretty good at what I do and I enjoy it. So, and I enjoy the people I work with. Didn't feel like there was a need to change anything, to be honest. I mean, to be perfectly honest, there is something nice about being an expert, right? A subject matter expert at something. And so every time you jump ship to a new company, you have to like relearn, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with relearning. I actually like learning, but I go from being like the expert to being the newbie, you know, and it's kind of nice being the expert, feeling like I'm valuable on some level. The way I like to phrase it is, I know where all the bodies are buried. And by that, without, you know, I mean, like, I obviously know where all the bad code is, and I know, like, things that you shouldn't do, that people are like, hey, why don't we try this? And be like, nope, we've talked about that before. Let's not try that because of X, Y, and Z. But, yeah, I don't know. I enjoy it. I enjoy being a computer programmer. I technically went to college, and my degree in college is technically video game design. It's computer engineering, or computer science, I should say, with a specialization in video game design. So of course I wanted to become a video game designer when I left college. Didn't work out that way. I worked for a enterprise software company. But you know what? I've enjoyed it. It's been fine. Would I someday like to get back into computer programming or game programming? Absolutely. And I'm actually, there are days that I'm like, look back and I'm like, man, I've been doing this for over a decade. Why haven't I not, you know, why haven't I made my computer game by now, you know? But it's just one of those things that everything in life takes time, right? Time is you know, people say, and it sounds cliche, but it's true. Time is your most valuable resource, and you got to pick and choose what you spend your time on. And I mean, currently in this exact moment, I'm spending my time driving a truck around for you guys. But I mean, I try to spend time with my family, try to spend time, you know, for myself, honestly. Obviously, the only games I play are not the ones I show for you guys. Although, full disclosure, you guys see most of the games that I play. The games that I play for myself are a smaller subset. Because usually when I sit down and play a brand new game, I'm like, oh man, I'd rather just be sharing this with somebody else and like having fun and sharing this on the YouTube channel. So most of the games that I play are on the YouTube channel. Only kinds of games that I probably play for myself are ones that I don't feel like would be, at least for me, a good YouTube series. Things like, I have no interest in doing World of Warcraft content. I play World of Warcraft still. I played that since the beginning of World of Warcraft. It's just a thing that I do, that I have fun with guys that I've known for now 15 plus years, you know, that I met early on, and just something I do. I don't play like all the time. It's usually just a couple days a week, but I still jump on, do some raiding and stuff like that. I think I've at least featured one World of Warcraft, you know, thing on my channel at least once recently, but I still play that because it's just something fun to do that gets me a little bit of socialization, I suppose. And then games like Assassin's Creed, things like that are a little bit higher rated, that I still play from time to time for myself. I don't tend to put, you know, mature rated games on the channel. That's just not what I want the channel to be for, you know, personally. But I still enjoy some of those games, so things like that I'll probably play on my own. All right, we're gonna be a little bit long on this episode, but I kind of wanted to show dropping off this stuff, and then I'll do the rest of it probably myself, and then we'll go from there. I don't fall over here. Oh, I didn't see how many bales we had. We're at 6 here. I'll have to go back and count them later, but actually, you know what? I think the baler would have told me, because doesn't the baler keep up with stats these days? Isn't there like a setting on, or a number on the baler that tells you how many bales you've done? I think that's the case. I just forgot to look. I also forgot that existed, to be perfectly honest. Probably 2/3 of the way done transporting from this field. We're gonna have so much hay left over for ourselves, which does mean I can only need to put 3 bales on here to drop these off for this. So I should probably check to see how much it costs everywhere else. But anyway, we're gonna put a cut in there. When we come back, I will probably have all this stuff done. I might save turning in the actual contract for you guys, but we should be ready to start the next contract, and we'll go from there. But these grass contracts, as we already talked about, are going to be worth a lot of money for us. So it's good to have them. But I do appreciate you guys watching. May God bless you, and I hope you join me again next time. Thank you, and goodbye. I wanted to give a special shout out to the following channel members. Thank you so much for supporting the channel.